The New York Jets still need to add another wide receiver to the team, but they were just delivered a stern warning from an analyst on a receiver they shouldn't sign. Let's discuss.
Zoinks! But it is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Aaron Rodgers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Happy Sunday morning, everybody. I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast in the audio-only version. Simply search for Boy Green Daily. And let's get right into it. So the Jets added Mike Williams, and I heard it in the chat. Let me highlight that right off the get-go. Who said that? Dakota? Was that Dakota who said that? Who says, we have one of the best wide receiver duos in the AFC East. Yeah, Garrett Wilson, got Mike Williams. So you got two very nice wide receivers. There's no question about it. I think they're up there. Hell, I've heard some people say they're some of the best in the AFC in general, let alone AFC East. And there's been a lot of chutzpah made. But there's still another receiver that needs to be added to this team. Now, we could debate whether it's going to be in the draft or it's another low-cost free agent or what have you. But they need another body. I think we're all in agreement on that, especially considering Mike Williams coming off a torn ACL. But there is one player that has been commonly connected to the New York Jets and a good friend of Aaron Rodgers. And there has been a stern warning delivered to avoid said player, and that is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He was with Aaron Rodgers for 4 years in Green Bay, then had an additional 2 years with the Chiefs. And old MVS. And we'll throw it up here on the board, pun intended, I suppose, because the warning that was delivered was Rivka board of JetsXFactor.com. It's been a hot second since we've had Rivka on the show, but let's throw up her comments on the screen. We also have the full article in the YouTube description down below. Here's her warning on why the Jets should not sign MVS. Here you go. MVS will continuously be linked to the Jets because of his Aaron Rodgers connection. However, there isn't much value to bringing him in. Michael Nania, my good buddy, explained the Jets need specific skills from a new number 3 receiver, strong slot production, and the speed to exploit crossers. Valdes-Scantling played 32.5% of his snaps in the slot in 2023, not far off from his 34.4% career average. He was abysmal on those reps, Rivka said, catching just 4 of 18 targets with a negative 28.7% catch rate over expected and negative 151 receiving yards over expected. He also ran very few crossing routes, as just 6.2% of his routes were classified as quote-unquote crossers, ranking 89th out of 93 receivers with at least 40 targets. The Jets have no need for MVS. That Rivka board of JetsXFactor.com saying no thank you on MVS to the Jets. She does not want MVS there. And I've heard it, we've thrown out a lot of names in the veteran market, potentially MVS, OBJ, apparently just 3-letter nicknames are the receivers that we're potentially swimming in. I think the Jets will probably go draft, but maybe we'll be surprised and they add another splash at veteran. That would kind of surprise me, to be honest. And if you look back at MVS during his Green Bay Packers days, there's a lot to like. He spent 4 seasons, his full rookie contract with the Green Bay Packers. He was there from 2018 through 2021, which, of course, coincided with all of Aaron Rodgers' years. Caught 123 receptions for 2,153 yards and 13 touchdowns. The thing I love about MVS's game is he brings an explosiveness to the passing game. That's kind of what I love about Mike Williams as well. He brings the ability to just take the top off a defense, which is really intriguing about Mike Williams' game. He brings this vertical element. And so does MVS in a lot of ways. He averaged 17.5 yards per reception in Green Bay. And here was his longest. I love this stat in my article. This was the longest reception he had in his first 4 seasons. A 60-yarder, a 74-yarder, a 78-yarder, and a 75-yarder. So in each season, he had a catch of at least 60 yards, maximum 78 yards reception. So he just brought an explosiveness to the passing game. So there was a lot to like about that MVS Aaron Rodgers connection. Also on the contract, according to Brad Spielberg of Pro Football Focus, he was cut by the Chiefs. More on that in a minute. He is expected to sign this offseason a 1-year deal for $6 million with $4.5 million of that guaranteed. That, according to Brad Spielberger of PFF, who's done a really good job in the contract projection department. But here's why I'm kind of with Rivka board here on the not signing MVS train. Is that the last 2 years in Kansas City have not been ideal. I mean, ideal for him. He just got 2 Super Bowl rings out of it. But from an individual statistical perspective, not ideal. Let me just be blunt. He's coming off the worst season of his career in the NFL. He had a career low in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. 21 catches, 350 yards, and 1 touchdown. That was the statistical production of MVS this past season. And he was on, while the Chiefs weren't nearly as explosive offensively as they've been in the past, it's still the Chiefs. You have Patrick Mahomes throwing you the pigskin. You got Andy Reid there as well. So, I don't know, it's a little bit of a red flag that MVS had a career worst season with Patrick Mahomes throwing him the football. And we saw a lot of drops this past season, too. That certainly doesn't help on top of all that. And, last offseason, the Jets dove into the former Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers pool, and it didn't go well. And one of the reasons it didn't go well is the Jets were arrogant. Very arrogant. Let me bring up this quote. This is from Rich Cimini. This is shortly after Mecole Hardman signed last year. This is his reporting. Quote, in Kansas City, we're talking about Hardman, was used at the line of scrimmage, jet sweeps, bubble screens, etc., and on vertical routes, with not much in between. The Jets believe he has untapped ability on intermediate routes, end quote. This was shortly after Hardman signed. The Jets thought, hey, there's some untapped potential here with Mecole Hardman that the Chiefs didn't unlock, but we can with Nathaniel Hackett. Huh? I'm sorry, what? Whoa. Wait a second. The Jets thought they could unlock a player's offensive ability that the Kansas City Chiefs couldn't? Andy Reid? Patrick Mahomes? What in God's green earth were the Jets smoking? Whoa, what a level of arrogance there of saying, hey, I know how the Chiefs used you, but we'll use you the full way. Oh, okay. Obviously, that didn't work because the Jets ended up slapping the return label on Hardman's cheeks and sent him back to KC. So obviously, that was a failed attempt there. But I think here's the key in where I ultimately stand on the potential MVS Jets thing. The fact of the matter is, if you have realistic expectations, there's a chance for that to be interesting. The Jets, obviously, with Hardman, did not have realistic expectations. They said they could unlock all these things. And by the way, Hardman is not without blame. We heard him straight up refuse. He admitted, I don't know why he did this, but he straight up admitted to refusing Brant Boyer's request to return punts for the Chiefs game. He's like, no, I wasn't practicing that, and my pinky kind of hurts. And he told the coach to, kick rocks, pal. I'm not doing that. So Hardman did a lot to himself that kind of destroyed the party, obviously. But also the Jets had unrealistic expectations to try to unlock some part of his game that doesn't exist. So I think that's part of it. So if you're realistic about MVS, and here's how I'm realistic about MVS, he's coming off the career worst season in every major statistical category. If you bring him in, I think what you have to admit is, okay, this is a straight up kick of the tires. This is a 1-year prove-it deal. Yeah, I'm not willing to pay the projection of a 1 year, $6 million, $4.5 million guaranteed. I don't think so. No. $4.5 million guaranteed. That locks you in a roster spot. MVS, to me, if the Jets added him, would not be locked into a roster spot. No. I'd bring you in because of the Aaron Rodgers past, and maybe you could rekindle that flame, perhaps. But that's all I'm doing is a camp body, and maybe he shows enough to stay. That would be my evaluation on MVS returning. So that's the only way I'd do it, is kick the tires. All right, let's bring him in, I guess. And then still draft a guy. And then let them all kind of compete and see what happens. That's where I'd be on the MVS train. But if he wants any more than that, then see you, pal. Sorry. We'll go in a different direction. I like the explosiveness. I like being able to have quick drives. That to me is intriguing, and bring a little spice. Something you have to be concerned with, worried about. Oh boy, he could take this one to the house. Like, I like having that threat, but not at that price. Not at that price, as far as I'm concerned. So Rivka board, Jets a warning of not avoiding. Now, I will say this, speaking of warnings and things of that nature. The thing that I don't really love is that Aaron Rodgers is getting all the blame for all these guys not panning out last year. Now, I think this is a fair point to say. That while Aaron Rodgers is getting the blame cast on him for Lazard and this guy and that guy and that guy, Aaron Rodgers wasn't even on the team to the week of the draft. Now, I'm not naive. Of course, they were all talking, and we've heard other players admit that Aaron Rodgers was attempting to recruit them to Jets when he wasn't even on the Jets. But I don't know if he deserves all the blames for all those guys flopping. He's been here since day one of this offseason, obviously, and they've added some intriguing names like Mike Williams and Tyron Smith, who wanted to play with the Rodgers, and all these other guys. So if he's getting the blame for all that other stuff last year, he deserves all the credit then for this year, bringing in some of these big free agents and luring them over here with the allure of playing with Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of my perspective on it, but hey, different strokes, different folks for sure, for certain. But there's no question about it. Like I said, the Jets do need another wide receiver, and they can potentially get that, obviously, in this upcoming class. That's something else that they will be, within the realm of possibility to do here. That's another thing we can see. All right, I'm going to put it in the chat. I will give you guys the call-in link. I'll drop that here on the show so you guys can call in. Click this link to join the show. Okay. I just put that in the chat. I am now pinning that as the top message. That is now pinned, so you guys can feel free to join that if you'd like. Now that I've ranted enough about MVS and the Jets and Aaron Rodgers' friends and whatnot, but I really love the opportunity that he's created here. So feel free to call into the show if you'd like. Boy Green Daily here. We really enjoyed it yesterday, so I'm going to try to make it a new staple of the show. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. If you're watching on one of the other mediums, just feel free to hop on over, and you can find a way to join the program. Feel free to do so. Pinned comment on YouTube. All right, let me answer some comments here. Let's go through the chat. Whatever your comments or questions. Okay. I'll start off with Dakota. We have now one of the best wide receivers in the AFC East. Agreed. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. We have now one of the best offensive lines in the AFC East. Yeah, sure. Or offensive linemen and offensive line. Yeah, Tyron Smith, obviously. He's more proven. He's a Hall of Famer, man. He's more proven than anybody. We now have arguably the best offensive line in the East. Yeah, there's a lot going for the Jets, baby. I concur. Yes. Because, think of New England. Who do they? KJ Osborne? Who that? Juju Smith-Schuster, maybe? Is he even still there? I don't know. So, Patriots, you're out. Stephon Diggs and Curtis Samuel? Okay. Put that aside. And then we got Miami. Obviously, got Tyreek Hill and Jay Waddle. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now you got Garrett and Mike Williams. Not bad. I like it. Dakota, Jets are the defending champions of the offseason, doing a great job at defending their title. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, there's been a lot of splash this offseason. It was a delayed splash. It's kind of like someone does a cannonball, and then it's not an immediate. It's like a bloop. And you're like, huh, that was weird. And then like a delayed, whoa, tidal wave coming. That's been kind of the process there. Yeah. Let's go back to Dakota here. We need an RB2 soon. I'm thinking Kareem Hunter, Zeke. Doesn't matter which one behind Breeze. Yeah, either one as far as I'm concerned. I agree. We need one. I don't know if soon. We'll see. I mean, I prefer to add it now. But if the price is too high and they just got to wait out, go through the formality and add it after the draft because it'll be far cheaper, then fine. I'm fine with that. But as long as we all agree, us, fans, team, that that's a need, then okay, I'm on board. But we do need another guy. I went on a rant the other day about it. No doubt about it. Definitely need and RB2. It's an important piece to the puzzle for the New York Jets. Important piece of the puzzle. Good morning. Good morning. Yep. All right. Let's go to it. Like I said, the phone lines are open. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. And it's time to go right to it here on a beautiful Sunday morning. Let's go to NY Jets FL. What's up, brother?
Hey, Paul. I had to call during before I started my workout.
Yeah.
Wondering, I forgot to ask your dad yesterday. Since Cowboys are kind of in cap hell,
Yeah.
with CD Lamb and Micah and Dak,
Mm-hmm.
would you, since you're on your own show, would you
Mhm.
entertain trading pick number 10 for CD straight up?
Oh,
He
I
had
would do
100
that
He had
without a
135.
second thought. Without a second
Mhm.
thought. I would. As soon as they called, I just saw the Dallas area code. I'd be like, "Yep, I'm sending it. It is mid. I'm running to the post office. I would 1,000% do that. Would they want more than that? I don't know, because you also have to give them the mega contract extension, so maybe that factors into the price a little. But there is no doubt. I think Lamb, and I couldn't believe this actually happened. NY Jets FL last offseason. There was a tweet that went out that just asked. It was from like an NFL analyst or something. It might have even been Dan Hanses, maybe. But he asked, "Is CD Lamb a superstar?" And I replied, "Of course he is. What are we even talking about here?" And people just destroyed me in the comments. They're like, "You're an idiot. What are you talking about?" I'm like, "What? Obviously he is." And then the season that just happened, he just reset the Cowboys record books in like every major category for a single season. I'm like, I told you, people, you idiots. Of course he is. He's dynamic. I wanted him back in the 2020 draft, but I came to a realization very early in the pre-draft process that I'm like, okay, the Jets are going offensive tackle, whether I like it or not. Like it's offensive tackle, it's wide receiver, and you need an offensive line to protect. So I would have been surprised at offseason if they went Lamb. I would have been happy because I really love the player. But I said they're just getting, if one of the only way it wasn't, if one of those four offensive tackles somehow wasn't there at 11, and two of them ended up being there in Mekhi Becton and Tristan Wirfs. So I fell in love with the player in college, but it was kind of like, you see that girl at the dance, but you're like, I'm never going to get with her. So I'm just kind of watching her from afar. I'm like, geez, she's going to end up with some other guy. And CD Lamb did with the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, I would love that. I would love that. So if you can, again, the Cowboys are quote unquote all in. I haven't really seen the all in yet, so I don't really know what that looks like. But if you can like overwhelm them with an offer, come on, baby. Lamb is a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to pay him $100 million. You can just get a rookie salaried wide receiver potentially if you can. Maybe if one of them falls. I mean, that's what. How would they solve their own problem? I mean, they have to have a quarterback, and Dak is. I wouldn't say Dak is great, but he's it's on the higher level end of the spectrum.
Sure.
Micah is a freak, but then again, they can. He was proven to be run against last year. He's an excellent, pass rusher and
Of course.
other things he can do, intangibles. But CD, I mean, you got to give, somewhere's got to give. Somewhere they're going to have to give up some part of it. And the Chargers gave up on their wide receivers.
Yeah,
Keenan
Keenan
Allen
and Mike
especially.
both gone. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but you got to give somewhere. I know Keenan Allen is older, but he still was productive. So I'm just
Absolutely.
thinking,
Yeah.
maybe we can kind of,
Ooh.
you know,
Okay.
take advantage of that situation. Maybe your dad can come back on at some point and you can run it by him. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that one.
After the Tyron Smith thing, that'd be great. There'd be nothing greater than that Boy Green Daily episode of him handing over like a CD Lamb jersey, and I'm like, yeah, thanks, appreciate it. Oh, wait, let me dust that off real quick. Let me get that on.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. I love the thought. I love the thought, brother. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
All right.
That's
Enjoy
all I
your
got.
workout. Yeah. Thank you, man. Good morning. Yes, very nice. Yeah, Lamb. I mean, obviously for the Dallas Cowboys, they've got to pay. So Dak is going to be, whether you agree, again, to kind of to NYJet FL's point, that whether you like it or not, Dak Prescott's going to be the highest paid quarterback in football sooner rather than later. For those who don't know the contract situation, he's in the last year of his deal. He had a $59 million cap hit. They just did something to his contract, very minimal, so I don't know how that affects that. But anywho, he can't be franchise tag next offseason. So the Cowboys are up against a barrel here. They got to do something. And he has all the control. So he could say, hey, if you don't want to sign me to the richest deal ever, then fine. I'll just walk in free agency, and then the Cowboys are screwed. They have Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. You're like, oh boy, you can't do that for the Cowboys. So I think Dak will eventually be the highest paid quarterback in football. Micah Parsons is going to be the highest paid defender in football. He's topping the Nick Bosa number, which is like $34 million per year. He's topping that. And they get CeeDee Lamb. He's probably like, I want to be the highest paid receiver. So, like, it's true. Eventually, there's some business decisions that have to be made there. But if he's available, the 88 Club, come on down. Lamb chop. Old CeeDee Lamb. I would love that. No question about it. That 10th pick, not even a second thought. That's how good Lamb is. Not even a second thought I would send that. Absolutely, I would send that. All right. Again, the YouTube line is open, so feel free to join the green room if you'd like to hop on the show. Feel free. It is the video link on YouTube. If you're watching on one of the other mediums, you got to hop on over to YouTube to click it. FPP, great show yesterday morning. Yeah, it's really cool to be able to have my dad on. That's fun. The embarrassing stories aside, I suppose. Hopefully, you guys get a kick out of that, I guess. But yeah, it's cool. We have some fun, engaging shows, and it's cool for people to call in now. That's a cool little quirk. Obviously, you see it all the time on like the Jake Asman show and stuff. So it's cool to kind of like, open up the feed, break the fourth wall, have other people join the show that make this show possible. So the show's blowing up. It's doing really well. All the numbers are great. So yeah, I'd like to share in the glory. Phil, Paul, is there any likelihood of alt sliding to us at 10 like the recent article says? I don't know what recent article you're talking about, but feel free to let me know. But yes, is there any likelihood? Like, it's possible, of course. But where I think that it's not possible, like anything can happen in the draft, of course. We all know that. That's what makes it cool. But where it seems unlikely is the Titans seem so hell-bent, especially with every move they've made. You have the Calvin Ridley signing, which was a crazy contract. You have just L'Jarius Sneed trade. We haven't really talked about this on the show because there's no like kind of direct correlation to the Jets. But you have L'Jarius Sneed. It feels like Joe Alt to 7 is like 1,000% happening. And that's really the only place where I see the offensive tackle, unless New England trades back, as we've heard from a couple of insiders. That's if they drop from like 3 to 7 or 3 to 8 or whatever that number is somehow. But Atlanta wouldn't be moving up. So I don't know the scenario or the team. 3 to 9, maybe that one makes sense. So Chicago moves up. So New England moves to 9. Chicago gets like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Caleb Williams, and then Patriots get Joe Alt. Like that, that sounds horrible to me. But for New England, that would make a lot of sense. Kick back, get to kind of Jets. Hey, screw you, pal. We're getting Joe Alt. So that could be possible. Sure. But Alt falling to us, I've been kind of on this roller coaster of like unlikely. Whoa, Titans at the combine, maybe. No. So like I'm leaning towards not happening unless they trade up at this point, Phil. But I appreciate the question. Right now I'm leaning no. Dakota says Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brock Bowers. Well, those would be fun. That's for sure. They'd be fun. I don't think either. Well, Brock Bowers will be on the board. I don't think there's any chance Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the board. But hey, you never know. FPP says, I watched him at Green Bay. He drops more passes than Lizard. And he dropped a lot of passes for KC, too. So that might be part of the equation to enjoy. Dakota said they'd rather sign OBJ than MVS. I agree. I prefer OBJ, to be honest with you. I prefer OBJ. If they're going to go in the veteran market, I'm not so sure. I think they go draft, but I'd love to be surprised. Jared B. No, MVS. Also part of the Boy Green Superfan Club. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can join the group. And for a small fee every month, you help support the channel. So no to MVS. That's funny. Big Islander fan on YouTube. Do you think the receivers on the team, Gibson could be that guy? They do like X a lot, but I think realistically, it's kind of how I evaluate the running back room. Let me put it that way. I don't think Izzy should be the unquestioned RB2 heading into the season. But is there a chance he could take it? Sure. Yeah. Okay. Add a veteran running back. Izzy does enough to impress and takes the job. Maybe in the same case, let's say for OBJ or MVS, whoever, you sign one of those guys and Gibson's so good that he eventually takes the role away from that veteran. Sure, that's possible. But I don't think you could go in with that. Is the receiver on the team? Possibly, because of all the additions they've made. Maybe, that ends up happening because if they draft a guy, there's going to be some level of development. So you're going to have to see how they kind of join us on that group. So yeah, it's possible, but I would say that they're going to add another body and we'll see who ends up taking it. Best man win, basically. William, is Boyd still available? He is, as far as I've seen, but the projection on PFF, and they've done a really good job. They've been pretty spot on their projections. He's projected me $8 million plus per year. That's basically what Mike Williams got. He got $8 million in a lot of incentives. That probably is too rich for the Jets, especially since they're sniffing around the Clowney water. So I don't think they have enough in the coffers to get a Boyd. That would be fun. Then you have Boyd, Mike Williams, and Garrett Wilson, but I don't think they have enough money in the coffers for that, William. I like the player. I think it was a Williams or Boyd thing. And if it was, I think they got the right player. But, yeah, he is available, but I don't think he's coming to the Jets. Might be going to Pittsburgh. Let's see. Stonehands. Oof. Phil, how did he do with the Chiefs? He did not do well with the Chiefs. He did not do well. I mean, he did. He won 2 Super Bowl rings, so I think we'd be jealous of that, I guess. But individually, did not do well. To go to DJ Chark. He's been like the Jet connection guy. I heard Watu on Buffalo yesterday. He was bringing up DJ Chark. He's been a fun player that's been connected to the Jets for like ever. Big Islander fan, Corey Davis. Yeah, he's still out there in the universe. He applied for reinstatement. That'd be weird to apply for reinstatement and then no one wants you, and then what? You go back to retirement? So he has to have some inkling that teams were interested, I would imagine. What? Dakota J. We should have offered Mooney a 1-year deal before we signed Mike Williams. Mooney signed a 3-year deal for $39 million, $26 million guaranteed. What in God's great earth are you talking about, Dakota? You need to go back to the hospital, pal. That doesn't he signed crazy money. The Jets were never giving him that. 3 years, $39 million, $26 million guaranteed. So what the he wouldn't have signed a 1-year deal. He got a multi-year deal from the Falcons. So I don't think so. Ricky New York, who joined us on the show yesterday, which was nice. I think Mecole convinced them he could do more, and he was lying. Do you think it's one of those job interview things where on my resume I say I was at Harvard, and we go in and they're like, "Wow, impressive resume, Mr. Esther." I'm like, "Yeah, you just think he straight up lied on his resume?" Like, I guess in a lying resume scenario, I have no proof that I went to Harvard outside of like I could grab you the degree, like I bluff and say I could grab you the degree from home. Yeah, I can run the full route tree. They just didn't do it. Oh, really? Wow. Like, no, we didn't see it. Yeah, no, I can do it. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think what happened is the Jets told Mecole what he wanted to hear. So it's almost like if you're in a conversation, and I totally do this in my real life. If I'm talking to someone and I hear some of the things they say, later in the conversation, I just parrot it back to the person. Like, for instance, if a person's venting to me, they'll say, "Paul, man, I got to tell you, man, my wife just doesn't listen. It's just unbelievable." Later in the conversation, I'm like, "You know what? She just doesn't listen." He's like, "Yes, exactly. Yes, you understand me." But I just repeated the same thing he said back to him a little bit later. So how I think it happened is Mecole's in the room. He's like, "Yeah, the Chiefs just didn't use me fully. I feel like there's more to my game." And I'm like, uh-huh. And later in the conversation, they're like, "You know what, Mecole? Let me just throw this out there. We think there's more to you." And he's like, "What? We're on the same page." That's what I think that happened. More so than him just walking in, with a little pep in his step, said, "Hey, I can do it all." I think it was more so the latter. I think it was the other. It was, it was that first thing, the former, where the Jets are like kind of parroting back information. I do that all the time. And then people are like, yes, Paul. That's what I'm talking about. I'm like, hey, in my head, you just kind of said that earlier, but I love it. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. Respect Rivka's data. Yeah, I really love having Rivka. She's very opinionated. I like. I didn't. So, like in that article where she had a bunch of free agents that she told the Jets to avoid. I don't agree with all of it. I think Matthew Berry once said this. I'm a big fan of Matthew Berry. He's a fantasy guy, and in this yearly article he starts off his spiel with this article with like a whatever it is, an opening blurb. And he says, player A has all these attractive qualities, blee, blah, blue, blah, blee. Player B sucks at blee, blah, blue, blah, blee. And then at the end of the blurb, he said, did you know, like, which player would you prefer? And people go, oh, player A, obviously. And he goes, they're the same player. And you're like, what? It's like a you got punked moment. And what Matthew Berry's point is in this article that he writes every year is you can say whatever you want the data to say. You can look at the positive, or you can look at the negative. It's supporting data, right? So if I believe OBJ is this awesome guy that Jet fans should sign, and all these people say we shouldn't, I'm like, hey, did you see his separation data on the tail end of the season during this stretch of time for 4 weeks? OBJ was like the third most separated receiver, whatever made up stat I say. Like he was the third most separated receiver last year. Like, oh wow, that sounds pretty good. I could also say, wow, he had the career worst season, like MVS. He had the career worst season of blah blah blue, but his yards per reception were this. Like, so the long story short of the Matthew Berry fantasy guy thing is that translates to life. You could say whatever the data wants you to say. Rivka does a really good job. They have all kinds of crazy analytics over there at Jets X Factor. And if you want to support your case, you could find data to support your case. For instance, some of the data on Zeke, she does not want the Jets to sign Zeke, or she does not want the Jets to sign. There's a couple other players. I don't want to mess up the players that she had in her article, but she had a couple players in there. I'm like, huh? And then I read some of the data, and it seemed a little cherry picking on some of the data to say why she didn't or did love this person. I'm kind of like, I feel like you're really going out of your way to try to prove your point, because I think the player makes sense. Zeke is a good example. He's a guy that I think would be a wonderful fit with the Jets. And she disagreed. So I think you do respect the data because they're black and white numbers. It's hard to disagree when you bring up numbers, but I think you can point to other numbers to try to combat the numbers. It's like a numbers octagon battle or something. That's how I look at it. Let's see. Miko, he was just kidding everybody. Maybe. Like I said, I think it was on the Jets side. Let's see. Ricky says, we do not need below average guys that we know Rodgers can make look okay. We need good players Rodgers will make great. It's a good point. High tide rises all boats. That is, he is going to make players better naturally. Oh yeah, you guys want to see the sweatshirt? Oh yeah, let me whoop. Yeah, I love this sweatshirt. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, here it is. Yep, here you go. Okay. So you got the New York Jets, obviously. And then in this top corner here, this side, you got the old school Jets helmet. I'm really looking forward to the new logo that's coming out. I know for our audio listeners who have no idea what's happening, but I'm wearing this old school New York Jets hoodie. And you got the helmet with the jet on it. Okay, so you have that. We also have, so I've got the plain jet on this one, and then behind me, which is always over my my right shoulder, is the old school Jets helmet as well, with the JETS with the trailing jet off the J. So I love both. I'm curious to see the next iteration that's supposed to be coming out here in a few weeks. Probably sooner rather than later. They said it's dropping in April, and I'd imagine earlier in April, so you get all your gear before the draft, but we'll see. Maybe they'll go into the Jets draft hat that gets released. I get that every year. But yeah, this hoodie is amazing. It's one of my favorites. I have a lot of Jets hoodies and then a lot more Jet hats. I'm a big Jet hat guy as well. So R&R, good work, buddy. I showed that awesome sweatshirt I'm wearing. Yes, I try to mix up the gear I wear too. Let's see here. Alex W says, morning, Paul. Today would be a good day for a Clowney signing. I love Clowney. I loved him for a long time. I love him long time. Yeah, I'd love him here. I just think he fits everything with the Jets. The Jets were in on Shaq Barrett. We talked about that on the show yesterday. And that was he ends up signing. I got the confirmed numbers from Schefter. It's a 1-year deal with a maximum value of $9 million. If the Jets were swimming in those waters and they thought they had him, that's got to be basically the same numbers, just about, that Clowney's looking for probably, especially coming off the season that he did. So, yeah, I would love Clowney. I think he would help the Jets in run defense. I think he'd be another really good pass rusher. Bryce Huff had 10 sacks last year. Clowney had 9.5. And you don't have to pay him $51 million. I love Bryce. We follow each other on a lot of different social medias. We message every once in a while. but he's gone, and the Jets have to find a way to replace him. So yeah, today would be an excellent day for a Clowney signing. According to the latest hoopla, Jordan Schultz says they're basically on the verge. They're poised. It's it's at the goal line basically to get this deal done. Both sides are motivated or something like that is what Jordan Schultz, the NFL insider, Bleach Report said. But there's other teams kind of lurking in the bushes like Baltimore and Carolina. So hopefully the Jets can get this done. They had him in the building. I don't know what else there is to wait for. Let's bring it on. John Sauer, another member of our Boy Green Superfan Club. On paper, the Jets' top 3 team this year, no holes. Yeah, there's no real obvious holes, which got us into the Stephen A. Smith thing yesterday where he questioned the injuries, and there's nothing I can do. If you don't believe if Tyron Smith or Mike Williams or Aaron Rodgers is going to stay healthy, there's nothing I can really say to that. You just got to believe or not believe. I would say I don't really have the questions about Nathaniel Hackett because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to overcome those. Now, the questions about like the coaching staff as a whole, like Robert Saleh, key decision-making, time management, things like that, TBD. We'll have to see. We've never seen him in that scenario with a really good quarterback and in close games constantly making the head coach decision. So that one's TBD for me. But yeah, on paper, I think the Jets roster is freaking loaded. I think it's one of the best in football. Mike Clay just said that for ESPN. He's an overall fantasy ESPN NFL guy. I think they have one of the best rosters in football, and they're going to have a chance to prove it this year. I truly believe that. And we haven't even hit the draft yet, which should add even more pieces to the puzzle. Ant Jets 82. I think wide receiver 3 will be from the draft. Lazard, wide receiver 4. Yeah, that's my gut right now. That's my gut. I think the Jets want to dip their toe in this very rich wide receiver draft class. And if they signed another veteran, it would be very hard to do that unless you're kicking out like X or Jason Brownlee, which is possible, I guess. But they could shift to the practice squad potentially. But I think you're right. I think it's a leaning draft. I'd be surprised if they got another veteran. This is an excellent question from R&R. More important, will I be wearing Jets apparel when I get on the show Survivor on CBS? So I've applied to be on the CBS show Survivor. I'm a massive Survivor fan. I've seen every season. I'm in the middle, in my free time, of rewatching old Survivors. So I'm like on season 31 or 2, which is Survivor Second Chance. So I'm rewatching all the Survivors. And they're currently in season 46 live right now, which I also watch on Wednesday nights. I've applied to get on the show several times. And in the shows, I've been telling them that, I'm basically the Boston Rob, but a Jet fan. He wore all the Red Sox gear and they let him on. Apparently, there's a lot of, so every week on my radio show, so I have a radio show in Syracuse. Every Thursday during the Survivor season, we have a former Survivor who's on the show, who's on the show for like 39 days. It was Brett LaBelle, who's a Boston cop, and we have him on our show. He was on the show Survivor and had some really interesting takes on the show. And he told me that they pick out everything you wear. So I would have to make a very compelling. So let me make this clear. I would love to wear Jets gear and represent the Jets. I've never seen a player on Survivor represent the Jets. So I would love to wear Jets and embrace that, make that a part of my story. Like everything I will bring will be Jets. Hopefully they will let me on the show with the Jets. So hopefully there's no copyright thing or something where I can't wear it. So I will be trying like hell when I get on the show Survivor, because that's happening. It will happen in the future. I know it. I'm speaking it into existence. I am just hoping that I get to bring it on the show, because they have costume designers and other things on the show, and they get to pick what you wear. But I'm going to go come on, man. It's my brand. It's everything I am. Please. And I'm a diehard Jet fan. It'd be cool to represent the Jets on the show Survivor. Hopefully not do anything stupid. But yes, I want to wear Jets apparel on the show Survivor. It may be up to the producers, but I will hide a sock or something and go every time I'm doing a confessional on camera, JETS, baby. Wow. I will do that. And then hopefully win the show Survivor and bring back $1 million. That's the plan. Danny in real life. The lack of wide receiver 2 really hindered the Bills from winning the division last year. Danny. You guys don't have, Carter Samuel. We'll see what he is. I think it was a nice signing. Is he wide receiver 2? It's kind of a gadget receiver. We'll see what he can do. I don't know. But we'll see. If the Bills lost Josh Allen 4 snaps into the season, what would their record have been, Danny? I think we all know the answer to that question. Okay, fine. Jets were the laughingstock. Ha, ha, ha. All that hype and the whole season was gone in a handful of plays because of Aaron Rodgers' injury. Fine. Touche, people. Get your laughs in. Straight up. Healthy Aaron Rodgers, healthy Josh Allen. Let's get into the octagon, see what happens. That's what I say to Danny, my Bills fan who is enjoying this show. That's what I say. I say simply, let's roll out the ball and see what happens. Because let's just be honest. The schedule comes out in 2 months, a month and a half. Give me the Bills, Monday Night Football. Let's run it back. After a fight that's close in the end, and then we go, let's run it back. There's some sort of controversy, right? And the Jets won that game, by the way. But anywho, Zach Wilson has beat you guys twice in the last 2 years. What's Aaron Rodgers going to do? That's my question. But anywho, let's run it back. Week 1, Monday Night Football, Jets, Bills. I don't care. Your house, our house. I don't give a flying hoot. Let's run it back. Let's do that to kick off the season. Jets will probably be at home, I would imagine, kick off the season. But you never know. Let's run it back, Danny. The Jets are winning this division this year, pal. We're going to pry it out of your dead, cold fingers. Be ready, pal. That is happening. Happy, who do we get? Oh, happy Palm Day. Yes, agreed. Yes. Palm Sunday. Oh, okay. Happy Palm Sunday, everybody. John Sauer says, we'd be in great shape if Lazard is only number wide receiver 4 on your team, but I really believe he'll improve with Aaron back. Yeah, I think inevitably he has to, quite frankly. He's going to be better, but I don't think you can rely on him. So if he's wide receiver 4 and he's doing spot duty of what he does, then okay, I think the Jets are in good shape. Plus, you want the injury insurance. I think that's a big thing we don't really consider or think about. Like, you want to be protected if injuries happen where you're not going to. Remember a couple years ago, right? We had Clowney. I'm mixing up Jets receivers of past, but we had that one team where it was like Greg Salas and Jermaine Kearse and like, who's that one weird Buffalo guy? He was like 87 or something. I don't remember. But like, we've had some weird, crazy ass receivers in history. But now, like, we gotta insulate the injuries. And that's a good point, too, from Phil. We talked about C.D. Lamb earlier. I'll send the 10 pick for Lamb, but I wonder if Lamb's contract would affect us re-signing Garrett, Sauce, Brees, and everybody else. And by the way, in Rich Samini's ESPN article this morning, he talked about why Joe Douglas was judicious but also aggressive. So, like, he was aggressive on these one-year deals, but he's making sure he has enough money in the coffers to re-sign all his stars. So that's the balance. That's the balance. Yeah, don't be shy, folks. Feel free to call in. That is the pinned comment on YouTube so far. Just NY Jets FL, but that's okay. That's all right. Love it. So feel free to call into the show if you have a question, comment, or whatnot. I'm really behind on comments. So I'm trying to catch up, but I try to go from the top down. Wow, Chase Claypool. What the? Yeah, I don't think so. I loved him coming out of college, Notre Dame boy, but has not been great in the NFL. All right, Brock Bowers could be. I will have I'll have a tweet out on Brock Bowers after the show, so keep an eye out for that. Oh, what a great question from Shadow Realm. Which Jets hater do you want to shut up the most this season? Oh. Well, Brady Quinn was last season. That was a lot of fun. And then how the season started, whatever the Jets started, I can't even remember. What was it 3-3, 4-3, whatever? Yeah, and they were like, yeah, shut the hell up, Brady Quinn. I think that was last year. I might be conflating the years, but Brady Quinn was a big one last year. Danny's a big one. He's not a big guy. It's not like, it's Stephen A. Smith. Danny, like in our comments, you'll see him. He's a Bills fan. He follows me on Twitter. We know each other personally. God, he's a Bills guy, and I just want to beat the Bills and the Jets to do amazing. And I want to dunk on Dan. I want the Jets to win the division so I can do pelvic thrust towards him. Like, yeah, suck it, baby. So I do want to do that a little bit. Personally, that's a personal, score. But an overall Jets hater. Anita Mark seems a little, again, she's not, I guess, a massive name, but she's in the business. She's on ESPN 98.7. She does a show on Saturday or Sunday mornings. She is a big Jets hater, I've noticed. Who is a big Jets hater that is giving us a lot of crap? Stephen A. Smith just said stuff, but some of the stuff he said was true about injuries and stuff. So He's not mouthing off. Who's mouthing off? You guys might have to give me some suggestion names in the comments of who is. That's a great question, though. I wish I had a better answer right off the top of my head. Somebody else, Tiki. Yeah, maybe. Who is it? I'll have to do some thinking on that. Who is the Jet hater that's coming in here? More on that later. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. All right, the green room is open. Feel free to click the pinned comment on YouTube to call into the show. Let's bring in who do we got here? Big Islanders fan here on the program. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing today?
Excellent, man. What's on your mind?
My biggest thing is to keep Aaron Rodgers upright throughout the whole season. I'm not so worried about the quarterback position because not the quarterback position, the wide receiver position, because we've seen Tom Brady so many years go with less than great wide receivers and still win Super Bowls.
It's true.
So, which area would you address in the draft, if you would?
Oh, boy. Yeah. We're talking 10th overall pick or just in general?
Just in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's to your point. I think we want to like the last 2 years of the offensive line injuries. I mean, have been wild, quite frankly. So hopefully we're going to get better injury luck, but we can't count on that. So I think what the Jets have to do is insulate. So the tackles, our next line of defense after Tyron and Moses right now are Max Mitchell and Carter Warren. Now, Carter Warren showed some splash I'm kind of intrigued with, and maybe Max Mitchell after the blood clot situation. I think that totally spun off his career so far early. So I'm kind of curious if he could get healthy, what they'll look like. But I think the Jets have to do their due diligence and protect. The guard depth, I'm not. It's fine. They do need a backup center, so that's another point of contention. But offensive tackle is a big one for me, and I think you're right. Aaron Rodgers, the same way Tom Brady did with all those no-name receivers for a lot of years, outside of like the Randy Moss spot years, those were the outliers compared to what he was playing with for most of his career, with like a Julian Edelman converted quarterback to wide receiver. Like they put random people out there at wide receiver, and he was able to ball out. So I'm right with you that I think with Aaron Rodgers, he's just going to raise up whoever is there at wide receiver. It's all about protecting him. So any more protection the Jets can get in a general sense that can insulate it just in case of injuries, that's the part that I want to protect, because I don't want last year happened however it happened, but if you finally get the quarterback, we've been waiting for an Aaron Rodgers forever, and you can't protect him, that would be a thing I'm going to be at a watering hole in 30 years going, boy, if we just would have protected for Aaron Rodgers, like this would have happened. So I want to make sure that's not a story I'm telling in 30 years. If this fails, I don't want to be because we didn't protect him.
Yeah, we're not getting any younger. We want to see these guys win finally. It's been, at least I've seen them win in '69.
Yes.
It's foggy.
Yeah. We got to, again, Aaron Rodgers said it, the trophy's lonely. We need to give it some help. And I feel like they got a great opportunity. This roster's amazing. This roster's stacked, and there's the right chutzpah here. They're going to need a little bit more in the draft, but I'm really excited for this team moving into 2024.
All right. Thank you, Paul, for the great content. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Awesome. Big Islanders fan popping in. Beautiful. We're getting people calling in for the first time. This is awesome. So, yeah, keep it coming, baby. The pinned comment on YouTube. Great calls. Great calls so far. I appreciate it. All right, let me catch up on comments here. All right, we're back to the 8 a.m. hour. It's like 8:17 officially. John Sauer, Mike Williams is an awesome 50-50 ball receiver. And it was funny hearing, because I'm catching up on all the content. It's really cool. The New York Jets app, they have like extra interviews that they don't post anywhere else. So I get to see some cool content. I try to show you guys a couple of clips on social media. They called it for Mike Williams like an 80-90 or 80 to 20, 90 to 10, like in some of those catching situations. Excuse me, which is really cool in those 50-50s. And Rodgers is going to, because like Rodgers obviously has a lot of confidence, he's going to like say, let's throw it up and see what happens. So that would be really great. Let's go to William here. If we trade back, is it possible to use a second or third pick to trade for a quality veteran who can fill one of our positions of need? That was a thing that, I know Tannenbaum gets a lot of heat right now for some of those trade offers we're seeing on ESPN, which are kind of funny to me. But I think that's what true teams that are going all in try to do. Now, I don't like, because he went for Cromartie, the receivers we all know, Braylon Edwards, Antonio Holmes. Who else? I'm trying to think of some other saucy trade he made that I'm not thinking of. There's more for sure, but I'm not thinking of it right now. But excuse me. Sure. Yeah. There is no problem. I love that strategy a decade plus ago now. of like using your draft picks to get proven veterans. So instead of waiting for rookies to develop, you're just kind of going. I heard Buffalo mention on this show, on his live stream yesterday, maybe you could get a swing tackle for one of your later round picks, like a proven swing tackle. And because of the importance, he mentioned James Hurst. So whoever your guy is, that could be kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else would be out there. Maybe you wait out if Justin Simmons' market continues to like not develop in free agency. Do you kind of say, hey, man, why don't you rebuild your brand here with the Jets defense? We're going to be awesome. You come here cheap, relatively speaking. Like if you're not getting the money you're looking for, that one would be fun. That's a free agent, but that could be fun. The Jets might be willing to run it back with this group and then maybe a Ashton Davis return or some rookie. Like the Jets might be satisfied with that triplets at safety, but they could say, you know what, YOLO, we're going for a chip, baby. Let's bring in Simmons. That could be fun. Dakota says, "Oh, the Baltimore Ravens. I am not shitting on the Ravens at all. I think Derrick Henry on the Ravens is going to be crazy good, awesome. So." Yes, sign me the hell up. Yeah, or not sign me the hell up because I'm a Jets fan, but like for the Ravens, they're going to be a team to watch. Lamar, Derrick Henry. I mean, they're going to ball out. ASOXO said, "Looking good, Boy Green. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. I need to get like long locks like you. I have not been able to grow my hair out quite like that." Oh, this is a great question. ASOXO at Boy Green. Are you getting a new jersey? Who will you get and which color? Okay, so I just talked about this with my fiance. So here's my life story. Here's more information than you wanted to know. I normally don't spend a lot of money like day to day. Like I'm not shopping. I'm not doing anything kind of crazy. I'm kind of a hermit from that point. Like when I'm doing all my jobs, I'm just shoving acorns, and I describe acorns as money. I shove acorns in the tree to like be prepared as a financially sound adult. My fault is that my dad pointed this out on the phone the other day, and I like never knew it, but then he just kind of called me out and like, you have no, when you, I think hopefully people can relate to this. When your parents call you out for a fault, for lack of a better word, you just have to like, you might say, nah, and I go, one of my faults as a person is that I don't spend a lot of money day to day, but when I want to spend money, I don't think about it. So like, for instance, this almost happened. Last year, right? The Jets legacy jerseys come out. In my cart was like $600 or $700. $500 to $700 of jerseys in the cart. And I called my fiance. I'm like, "Do you think that'll be okay?" And she's like, "Well, you can do whatever you want, but." And so like I went nuts. I was like, "Yeah, gotta get an Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, gotta get a sauce. Gotta get it." And then I like walked myself off the ledge, and I did not spend $500 to $700 on legacy jerseys. But I was like, "Oh, what do you think? Huh?" I was just waiting for that last little nudge, and I would have dove off the cliff. The other problem is the Jets are going to run me out of money, quite frankly, because now they're dropping a new logo / jersey here in a week or two, and now I'm going to be like, "Take my money, you bastards," and just throw the money at the camera. "Take my money, you piles of garbage." So now, so hopefully I'm able to be talked off the ledge again, because of course we're all going to want some of the new action if it looks good. So, New Jersey. So, I got a Rodgers jersey. I really love the one I got. It was a custom one, which may look close to maybe the new jerseys that came out. It's a black with a green logo, white outline. That one looks really cool. So, I got one Rodgers jersey. I got a couple legacies. I got Sauce. I got Quinnen. I don't have a Brees jersey, so Brees would be fun, although you kind of want to wait for him to get his contract extension. So, Brees could be one to get for sure. Oh, Quincy Williams would be a fun one. I think we all just feel good about Quincy Williams. I mean, the celebration is pretty cool. So Quincy would be on the list. Let me think. Who else? I have a Garrett Wilson jersey, but I'm going to have to get the new Garrett Wilson jersey because he's changing to number 5. I don't have a number 5 Garrett Wilson jersey, so that'll be up there. So Garrett, Brees. Is there someone I'm missing? I mean, DJ Reed would be kind of a cool one. We got to see again, same thing. Is he getting extended? What's happening there? But those are a couple. And then for color, I mean, shoot, we got to see the legacy ones. It's probably the one I'm going to want that we're supposed to be getting in this new iteration is like the Kelly Green legacy, So the home, so we got the white legacy, getting the Kelly Green legacy. That's probably the color. And then the choices are like number 5 Garrett. DJ Reed, Quincy. If I had to power rank it, it's probably number one right now is probably Garrett Wilson 5 because that's gonna look nice. Quincy Williams, Brees Hall, like that kind of group is like Garrett's probably top, and then like Brees or Quincy are interchangeable. That's probably it. Great question. And I am a jersey freak. In that closet over there, it's off camera to my left. It's technically my baby's nursery, but I have a closet that's like in the room that's kind of closed off. I probably have 75 jerseys, and I'm not kidding. I probably have 75 jerseys, and like 60 of them are Jets. And I mean, this list of jerseys, this will have to be its own show. Like like MTV Cribs, come on, check out my place. And I show you all my jerseys. But like it goes from like Vernon Golston, 56 drafted, to Jay Samaro, to every quarterback in Jets history, to I don't know. Like I mean, I have them to the legacy ones I was just talking about. So yeah. I'm a jersey freak. I love jerseys. I know some people are not jersey people. Hey, you're an adult. Don't wear a jersey. I don't care for those people. I'll wear whatever gosh darn jerseys I want. Ricky says, Boy Green, I have 54 Jets hats, not many sweatshirts. So again, this is another tour that you guys aren't seeing right now, but right here is a hallway. Okay. And then the hallway is like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet long, maybe. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but something like that. And from floor to ceiling, my fiance bought these little plastic hooks that stick on the wall. From floor to ceiling are Jet hats. I'm not even kidding. And when I go to wear a hat for a show, right, I'm looking at the wall, which one today? And I'll go, I'll take one of these. Boop, 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 boop. Which one? Try to mix it up all the time, although there's a few I have that are favorites. And it is just wall. And it goes all the way down. The entire hallway are Jet hats, ceiling to floor, these little plastic hooks. Like I got a couple cool ones I wear during I got a Jets bucket hat when I'm outside, whenever that is. Yeah, the bucket hat. I see a Jets camo. Got all the Jets draft hats. I get that every year because my birthday is on the draft. My birthday technically is on day 2 of the draft this year, but it's always around the draft, so I always get the Jets draft hat every year. Love to do that. But I love it. I love you guys showing your fandom. Hats, jerseys, all that stuff. That's awesome. ASO XO. Will the new jerseys include some colors that we have now? Yeah, I believe they were going to have a Kelly green, so like the home legacy version, the white legacy version. I think we're going to have a black alternate. That's my guess for the 3 alternates. Although, again, I love the New York Titans. Apparently, that's a risque thing to say, but I like the New York Titans uniforms. I like the New York Titans ones. I wish we'd go back to those. Those are fun. Let's see. Scotty does not think the Jets have one of the best rosters in the NFL. I didn't say the best. Whoa. I didn't say the best. I think they have one of the best. Mike Clay of ESPN said they're top five rosters. So, but Scotty apparently does not agree on YouTube. I didn't say the best. I don't want to misrepresent, nor did I say that. I don't think they have the best roster in the NFL, but I think they do have one of the best. But, yeah. FPP, Paul, you are a survivor. You're a Jets fan. Yeah, people on that show, for those who have never seen it, you're competing for the title of sole survivor. But perhaps you're right. Maybe the irony of the movie is I've been the sole survivor the entire time. Plot twist. Didn't have that one. FPP, that's funny. That is funny. And probably true, quite frankly, actually. But, man, that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Gyros. I've never had a gyro. I'm not even sure what a gyro is. I'm going to be honest. Not even sure what that is. NY Jets FL. Paul, what are you doing for the draft? Great question. So my work, Heavy, which of course supports the show. So thank you to the Heavy overlords that support this program and allow me to be able to do this every day along with each and every one of you. I think it was, it was Will McDonald. So it was definitely last year. Last year, it was a cool setup in my living room. I had a full layout. I did a live draft show for the entire first round. It was me co-hosting with this famous comedian, and me and him did play-by-play live reaction to the draft, basically. And I was able to organize it, have a bunch of guests on, which was a lot of fun. I've developed a lot of contacts in the industry over the last 15 years or so. So I had a lot of my favorite draft guests on that weren't doing their own live shows. So we got to react or try to have former players on and stuff like that. So that was cool. It was a bucket list item. I've done a lot of cool stuff in my career. I've been able to do play-by-play for a bowling championship. I do PA work for a football team. I got to do a live draft show for the entire first round. So it's a 3-4 hour show. That was a cool thing to check off the bucket list. I am not doing that this year. We did our own live a couple years ago. That might have been the Sauce Garrett year. I can't remember. But I did a live where the camera was just on me and we were live. We were watching the draft. So I've done a few of those. And the Jets Talk people with Green Bean, Matt O'Leary, and everybody, they do a really good job of doing it live. So I don't think I'll be live this year. I think we might have some not live reactions, but sometimes I have it live. Sometimes we know the Jets pick is coming and I get the camera on me and just like start recording and then I share that video out. So maybe we'll do some of that content and reaction stuff, of course. But I don't think we'll be doing live this year. But we'll see. Maybe you guys will peer pressure me into it. Always possible. Ricky New York. JD outsmarted everyone. He defused the Jets free agent curse. I got Rodgers, Lawson, Mosley, and signed guys who already got their injury out of the way. Take that. Oh, yeah, that's a good one, Ricky. I did not think about it like that. They already have their injuries out of the way. Okay, ASOXO says we're going to have a beard growing competition, Boy Green. I'm not going to lose. Okay, I respect it. I was just telling somebody I was at a bagel shop yesterday, and the longest I've ever had my beard is like mid-chest. That's the longest I've ever had it. But I shape it up a lot. I go to the barber and get it all cleaned up. But, hey, I welcome all challengers. I welcome all challengers. Green Beans got it going, too. We got a lot of great beards on Jets content creation. None like mine, but, hey. Everyone can try to come for the king. If you swing for the king, you best not miss, baby. That's how I feel about it. Well, let's go with some final comments here. Who do we got? Good morning from Sicily. Okay. Francesco, excuse me. My apologies. Di Stefano. Welcome on Heavy on Jets. Appreciate you, brother. Oh, Nick Wright. That's another good one. Nick Wright. That's a good Jets hater. It's a good one for the one earlier. Let's see. Okay, let me try to. Deion Dawkins. Yeah, I guess that's a player one. I guess that counts, sort of. Sure. Okay. Colin Coward. Yep, that's another one, I suppose. Although he kind of floats all over the place. Mike Francesa. Okay, he's one. He's not really in my world, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I don't listen to him all the time, so. Is Chuck Clark an upgrade from Jordan Whitehead? That's a good question. That's a good question on YouTube. It's a complicated question because of the injury. I think healthy he was because he gives you what Chuck Clark is such a sound tackler. Jordan Whitehead missed a lot of tackles. Jordan Whitehead was a ball hawk. Chuck Clark, I don't think anyone would categorize as a ball hawk. So you kind of gain some, lose some. I prefer the tackling over the intercepting and hoping some of these other guys take leaps like Sauce Gardner and stuff of that nature. Phil says, Paul, I just had my first Taylor ham sandwich. I just took a bite. Can't tell if I like it. Yeah, I'm not a Jersey guy, so I've never had it. But I'm not a big ham guy. I'm going to be honest. I hate ham. Maybe this is a hot take. Ham is such an overrated meat. Not a big ham fan. Absolutely not. There's just no question about it. I do not like ham, Sam. I am. Absolutely not. I'm a bacon, egg, and cheese guy. I had that yesterday and a nice plain bagel. That was very nice. Every once in a while, I like a salted bagel. Oh my God. Ricky New York. Paul on YouTube. Paul, when I won my very first fantasy football championship, I bought a jersey for every guy on my team, 25 at one shot. Wife took my credit card after that. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, you win. You beat me, Ricky. I thought I was a jersey connoisseur. I guess not. You have 112 jerseys. Okay, you beat me as well. 23 current players. Oh my God. Yeah, you beat me. Okay, it's over. Wave the flag, ref. It's over. Holy Jesus, Ricky. I'm impressed. You've beaten me. I think I have a lot of current players, but I don't have 23. You almost have a full roster of jerseys. I love it. That's awesome. Edward asks, is the green jersey going to be Gotham or Kelly Green? I would lean Kelly because of they're embracing the legacy, but I don't know that for sure, Edward. So I guess I can't speak out of turn. But if we're getting, I would assume Kelly based on the legacy. I guess we'll have to wait. What's the logo going to be? Are they doing a just ode to the old and bringing an old one back? Are they bringing an old one back with a custom flare like this? Like I said, over my right shoulder for people watching, you can see the JETS with the trailing jet. Like, are they doing that but glossy or something? I don't know. Jake Asman is probably the better person who has all the details and that sort of thing. But I would, if I had to assume, I would assume Kelly Green. I have a question here on YouTube. SG_31 Black. Is Garrett Wilson better than the slaughter outside? Yes. But in all seriousness, it's the slot because he could just kill. Because the thing that helps you in the slot that you kind of, let me say it this way, because I played running back and quarterback in high school. When you were a corner, they taught you basically the Revis. Use the boundary as an extra defender. Like, so play him inside. If I'm on the boundary, I'm a corner. And I got a receiver, and I know the boundary's right here. If I work him to the boundary, he can't catch the ball. He can't get 2 feet down or 1 foot down, depending on your high school career. You can't get him in if he can't stay in bounds. So very physical line of scrimmage, and then ride him on the sideline. And then, like, when they go to catch it, like, either there's no force out in my high school, so you could bump him out. So that's an extra help for the outside corner. But in the slot, boy, you could cut in, you could cut out. The route combinations and route possibilities are endless from the slot, and his ability to separate is like disgusting. Again, I advocate for people to go back to his rookie season, week 2 against Cleveland in the red zone. He was mano-a-mano on a corner in the red zone, and he just juked him. And the corner just like flies off, and he creates this instant separation like that immediately. Spectacular. So I think he's more dangerous in the slot, which with Mike and Garrett, it seems like there's some flexibility there to go in and out. I'm really looking forward to who they add as the third receiver, because that maybe can open up even more. But I think he's more dangerous in the slot, but he's awesome everywhere, personally. Paul eat gyros, whichever the pronunciation is. They're awesome. Okay, I will have to try that. I've never had one. I don't even know what it is, to be honest, but okay. Yeah, Paul's got to take some more medicine. I'm getting hit. When you have a child that's sick, it's like impossible. It's impossible to avoid. I bet we draft a safety is coming up here from D Mars Z45. Very possible. I could see that. You could have Chuck, Tony, not third round, wherever you draft that person, develop, learn from Clark, and then torch flip the following year. I could totally see that. That could be very, very possible. I like Chuck Clark a lot. Hopefully he's here for a few more years, but go back to D-Mars. He said, I would draft the receiver in the first round even if we sign him. Yes, 100%. Like, because Mike Williams on a 1-year deal, and whoever that third veteran you potentially had, that's also a 1-year deal. Hell yeah, I'm still drafting a receiver. Absolutely. Okay, more people on my ham not that good argument. Thank you. Thank you for joining the group, baby. Okay. The pork people. I need to see Rodgers in the Sanchez era jerseys. I don't think we're getting that, but hey. I have a compulsive spending issue when it comes to Jets gear, Ricky says in New York. I think we all have that problem. Oh, it's Greek. It's Greek. Gyro is Greek. Oh, interesting. Okay, I've not really had a lot of grape. Cinnamon raisin bagel. Oh, okay. Well, you guys get funky, man. Oh, it's the pronunciation for gyro is euro. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. All right, that makes more sense. Okay, thank you for the Greek knowledge here, people. I appreciate it. Edward here. All right, we'll end with this run of questions. If we get a Brock Bowers, should we just use him as a wide receiver in the slot? Yeah, I think that's where they will use him probably, because you'd have Garrett, Mike, and then him as kind of like a split out. They tell me he's not just like this inline blocking tight end from Georgia people that watch all the tape. They tell me he's not just this inline guy, that he could be like this quasi weapon, running back, everything else. So, like I said, after the show's over, I will tweet out my Brock Bowers little nugget. Okay, whoa. Gyro is lamb meat. Whoa, I've never had lamb. Okay, that's good to know. Tzatziki sauce. Phil says, what's supposed to go on it? You guys are giving me all kinds of details. Oh, gyro. Gyro. Ah, I'm an idiot. I should probably be better at the whole pronunciation thing. Gyro. Ah, I see. The phonetic helps. Thank you, D-Mars. Gyro. Okay. Wow, I never knew that. I always thought it was gyro. So gyro. Okay. And R&R, you can end it here. Can I get a shout out for our newest Jet fan, Leah, R&R granddaughter? Oh, that's awesome, man. Shout out. That's beautiful. Raising her right. That's it. So shout out to her. That's freaking awesome. That's amazing. I love it. Absolutely cool. Guys, I do want to not get all soapboxy here, but I love doing this show. And I love all you crazy commenters, no matter where you are, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You make this show possible. I've been doing this show for over a year now, or a year-ish, and we're doing it every single day. And I have the same passion for it now that I did then, and you guys make it possible. So, guys, if you're watching, we have about 1,000 people in the room right now. We have 150 on YouTube. Make sure we have 150 likes. Like the video, hit subscribe. That's a free way to contribute live to everyone that's watching. We got 700 more on Twitter. Make sure you guys hit the follow button so you don't miss it. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Dom C returns for some more draft content. And thank you, everybody, for asking about the feel better stuff. So I appreciate that. And D-Mars, you love the show. You listen almost every morning at work. That's awesome, brother. So people, God bless. Keep it rolling, baby. And like I said, we'll be back tomorrow morning with Dom C talking all things Jets draft. Should be a lot of stuff for that as well. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everybody. And we'll see you soon. Take care. And hopefully a Clowney signing soon. We'll try to see. Peace out.